Okay, so we are back again, and I have the Saint-Julien 2015. I have a soft spot for 2015. We're in France, in Val d'Isère. Wonderful little skiing village, beautiful little skiing village. And yeah, I mean, I could not be a happier little bunny. I went to my little local supermarket, which looks like nothing, but when you get in there, it's full of wonderful wines. And so in this series, quickly, if you haven't seen the one on the Margaux from Duzac, then please do, it'll be up here. If you've been in France long enough, you'll know how to get anything from your little local cooperative all the way up to your wonderful vineyards. You can buy, if you can't buy decent wine in France, then I thought I'd focus on something that I really enjoyed, which is the Club des Sommeliers, which you can get in pretty much any supermarket in this wonderful French egalitarian way of things that French like to do certain things. I also found in the apartment this wonderful Scruple, which I used to have one of these. They're absolutely amazing, but mine broke. I can't remember exactly where it broke, but it did break. So yeah, I'm going to use this for nostalgia reasons. We are going to, I always love a wine opener that has a proper knife. I remember what happened. Somebody used this on a bottle of wine that had a wider neck and it broke here, and it's the type of plastic that you can't epoxy or anything. So this is from Beychevelle, and what's wonderful about these wines and why I want to do them is that they are wines that are up to €100 if you buy them normally, and I assume these are bin end, but when you're buying the bin ends from the Club des Sommeliers, wow, that cork. I'm going to try and do a close-up of that cork. It is a thing of beauty. Now, it is a composite cork, which is interesting. I would never have expected that, but you know, this is probably how you cut the corners. I'm going to leave that in its wonderful little opener. I almost want to leave it, I'll leave it there. So yeah, I'm going to drink this with you. I am aware that this wine probably needs some decanting, but what I will do is obviously carry on tasting this and drinking it, and if I see that it did need some decanting and a re-review, then I shall do a re-review. But on first eyes, obviously, it is a wonderful big dark wine. It's not as dark as I was expecting. It's only 13.5% alcohol, which I suppose is correct. I mean, obviously the level of alcohol is correct, but you know, you can have slightly more. This is nice. This is, it's that wonderful 2015 already. What a wonderful year it was. Wow, I'm enjoying this a lot. Now, not because I've cheated and seen how much this, well, the other wine actually, so the Margaux was a €110 bottle of wine. This, wow, this is big. Oh my God, that is nice. That probably needs a bit of breathing, but I don't care. I'm going to give it some mouth to mouth. Sorry, terrible joke. But I think it's important that we don't make everything in the wine industry too serious. So, Saint-Julien. Let's see how many Vivinos it gets. Okay, so this wine is £94, which is pretty much the same if you take adjustments for euros, but it is a 4.3 from nearly 1,000 ratings on Vivino. I'll take a screenshot of this and see if I can put it in the video. Even though I've scanned this Sommelier Club bottle, in the little icon it is showing me the real wine. And I don't know how much this has changed from the real wine, but I would hope not very much. I mean, I can take a composite cork rather than an expensive cork. So when we look at the equalizer of taste characteristics, it is pretty much the same as the Margaux, as you'd expect. Slightly less bold and tannic than the usual Riojas and Riberas, slightly more acidic, and pretty much the same dryness. Now we have tobacco, oak, and cedar. Now that is interesting. I would not have picked up cedar. This is one of the reasons I love picking up Vivino. You've got this mass of 1.3 thousand people, obviously mentioned oak, but they've also got to the cedar bit, and there is this wonderful aged cedar, you know, from, I don't know if you smelled wet cedar recently, but from a humidor, cigar humidor, with the cedar that is in there, or the cedar pieces that you use for getting rid of moths. Am I digging a hole here? Don't know, but there's definitely a woodiness that is beyond oak, I think, is the way to sum that up. And it is, the cedar is spot on there. The tobacco is spot on there. And that harshness that you get at the end is like, when you smell a wonderful cigar and it smells wonderful, but when you get a good strong whiff, or you even take a piece off and, I love biting my cigars. I'm of the A-team generation, obviously. And George Papard used to bite the end off of his cigar, but I kind of like that because it lets me show the structure and how it's made and stuff like that, and the clean cut that comes from it, I just don't like it. But anyway, the point is that you can get this kind of bitterness from the tobacco, but it's a pleasant bitterness, it's a bigness, it tells you that you're about to get into something that is very special and very big, and it is there. And then you've got the cassis is now a primary fruit, and this is true to its word. It is in front of the blackberry and blackcurrant, and I think that is only apt. The big fruit is just big fruits. It's got the leather, earthy and smoke of the Margaux, definitely has. These are not too far away from each other. I think you guys have probably guessed by now whereabouts in Bordeaux I kind of centre and enjoy the most. But yeah, then we get, after the leather, earthy smoke, we get cherry, red fruit and raspberry. Now that is a little fruitier, and it is a bit fruitier than the Margaux. Pepper, licorice and mint, definitely there. The violet, lavender and perfume, definitely there. Prune, dried fruit, raisin, this is almost a repeat. Now we get cream cheese and sourdough. That is interesting. I haven't picked up these yeasty notes. I don't know where people are getting the oily and the yeasty notes from, but again, I'd love someone to tell me where they're coming from. Toast, almond and nutty. I preferred the walnut of the other one. Does this have it's not as walnut as the Margaux, but there's definitely something bigger than almond and nutty in here, apart from me. Grass, or grass. Yep, I get that. If, the bell pepper is there again. I mean, there's definitely vegetal notes, which I think are better summed up with grass, and I didn't pick up, this wasn't in the Margaux, and I think that is the vegetable note. It's not 100% accurate. For me, it's not what I would use, but in the absence of better qualificatives for the vegetal notes, I would say it's more grass than bell pepper, both this and the Margaux that went before it. And then we're into the citrusy notes, and they mention lychee and passion fruit. It is a bit more tropical, I think is the right word, in terms of the difference between a grape and a lychee is just the where in the latitude it was. There's definitely that lychee, when you're breaking a lychee, that skin, sort of yeah. This is an astonishing wine. I mean, honestly, I know a lot of people will say 30 euros for a bottle of wine. Yeah, it's a decent amount of money, but if you think of the amount of work that goes into this, and if you enjoy these kind of things within the scheme of how much it costs you to make a dinner, or certainly going out, I mean, I can only get a glass of the house stuff in this part of the world for, well, I can get a glass and a half of the house stuff for a whole bottle of this. And honestly, if you're in a local area, and I think this is actually the same price as it would be in any, because I bought the last one when I was in Bordeaux or in Arcachon, which you can see here. I'll try and link up. It seems to be the same price, whereas obviously, I bought this in a little convenience store where everything is more expensive. So, by the time you've bought dinner for a few people, you suddenly notice that what would have cost you, I don't know, 40 or 50 pounds in your home supermarket in this little convenience store has cost you probably 80 or 100. But that's fine, right? I mean, that's how people make their money. People don't bring things halfway up a mountain and live halfway up a mountain for free. But yeah, this is relatively, I think, a bargain. I don't know if I'm trying to justify why I spent this money on the wine, but I think honestly as well, if I had gone out and bought a load of 10 euro and 20 euro or even €5 wines, I would probably have spent more than €30 to get what I wanted, produced a lot of waste. Whereas this, I've just honed in on something that I can have a dinner at home and feel zero regrets for having gone out for dinner. And that is wonderful. It's a wonderful thing. And this wine is a wonderful thing. And I almost want to stay in to drink the rest of this, because it is just so wonderful. I mean, I'm going to let this breathe a bit. I may add a few more comments, maybe over the B-roll, if, when I taste this a bit more. But wow. Wow, wow, wow. Lovely. So on that note, please check out the Chateau Clinet 2015, the Margaux 2017. I also did a video cycling around Arcachon, if you want to visit there. I don't know if I'm going to do anything on Val d'Isère, because I haven't managed to find a bike yet. I did do a wonderful drive. I've been trying some hybrid drivetrains for another project that I'm working on. Very impressive, with winter tires through a snowstorm and stuff like that at altitude. We are at 2,000 meters here, 1850. Don't think that's affected the wine. Definitely affects climbing stairs. But yeah, sorry, I've rambled on a bit. But what I was saying, €30 for a bottle of wine that otherwise would cost €100. It's an absolute bargain. Honestly, £100 is a lot for a bottle of wine. Would I spend £100 on this? Probably not. Will I spend 30 on this? All day long. And this is just the best way for me to zero in when you're away or in France in an Airbnb, etc., on a wonderful bottle of wine. And with that, I say cheers, and I shall see you in the next one.